The great thing about phrasal verbs is their convenience. They help deliver the message in a shorter time. Some people might say that we shouldn't teach them to students at a lower ability level, but I can't entirely agree. And before I tell you why, I will give you some examples later of how and when we use them. And there are free PDF samples I use with my students that you can download at the end of this video. Exposure to phrasal verbs at an earlier stage of learning can help fast-tracking the understanding of natural native speakers and develop a faster pace of students' learning through curiosity. I would also argue that phrasal verbs are more fun to learn and retain curiosity than just learning long lists of words without adding context. Phrasal verbs are like triggers pre-prepared with context. For example, how do you react if someone says to you, level up? What's the first thing that comes to mind? If you thought of gaming, you might be curious if that's the only usage, right? And teachers, if you are watching and interested in what level I start teaching phrasal verbs, I start around the lower intermediate level. Students, if you are wondering too, I evaluate a good knowledge of the past, present and future tense and basic sentence structure. Then I would consider introducing you to phrasal verbs. Let's run with the phrasal verb level up. Here's a little story demonstrating why phrasal verbs are helpful and playful. You know what? I am so impressed. Why is that? While I was studying for my Spanish exam, I followed this YouTuber and he said every time you need to take a break from studying, you should also do 20 push-ups. That sounds crazy. What for? It increases your blood oxygen to the brain. Cool. And it helps with concentration. So you did that? Yeah, and as a result, I gained 2 kilos of muscles over 2 months. Hey, Camelot. Yeah, I'm here with John. He's saying he leveled up 2 kilos because he's been doing push-ups. Yeah, impressive, right? So now we know how and why we use phrasal verbs, but there is a time and place for using them. For instance, we use descriptive sentences when talking formally, such as to someone we just met or at a business or political conference, where we rarely use phrasal verbs. However, if you recount a story at a company business meeting and depending on the audience, you might use some phrasal verbs to emphasize your point. Example, if we invest in our people, our business will level up. Another instance is reading books. You will find that phrasal verbs are used mainly in the characters' dialogues and do not describe the environment, taste, or emotions that surround the characters. Example, as the couple lay on the beach in a warm embrace, they gazed with enchantment at the sunrise. Now let's try that with a phrasal verb. Their feelings for each other leveled up as they watched the sunrise. It's short and it's sweet, which is good, but not quite the same if you read that in an epic novel, is it? So in summary, you don't need to spend too much time learning all the phrasal verbs you come across. Remember to know the most widely used ones first, and that will help to speed up and level up your language learning. If you are looking for more content to improve your language skills, check out the other videos on this channel over here.